Welcome to episode 7 of Up and Coming. Happy New Year to all of our loyal viewers. We'd like to thank you very much for your watching our show and your continued viewership. Today we have a very, very interesting guest. Her name is Judy Taranjo, and she is a caricaturist, and she does really great drawings of people, you know, the ones that you see in carnivals and things like that. Welcome to the show, Judy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm
very
good.
nice to meet you. So how did you get started in this caricaturist business? And
yeah, I've always liked to
backgrounds?
draw people since I was a child. I've been drawing a long time, and I went to school for graphic design, and I did that exclusively for many years. And occasionally what I would sketch, and I got asked somehow, I don't recall how, to do some animal fundraisers for adoption, pet adoption, and I was doing the sketches. And after a layoff about 6 years ago, I decided to pursue this as part of a living. And so it's been about 6 years. And I called a lot of the agents, entertainment agents, and DJs, and people like that. So that's kind of what I've been doing since, as part of a living.
when you were saying about your background, do you have to go to art school for this, or is it just a natural talent that develops from having a background in art already?
I think in my case, I think it was just I'm pretty good at drawing. Mm-hmm. And I think I had a knack for capturing people in particular.
Okay.
So I think that's a natural start. I know other artists that do this sort of work, and they're cartoonists. I know others that are comic book artists. So we all come from a different place, really. And my place is really more from portrait work. So mine are more almost like a portrait caricature.
So when you're sitting down to draw a subject and you say, okay, I'd like to draw a face of this character, do you interview them at all to learn about them, or do you take a picture and draw from picture? How do you work to capture that essence of a person?
Yes, I try to engage them a little bit as I'm drawing them, depending on the situation. If it's a situation where it's too loud, you know, I'll just draw them. I'll draw what I see. Have them smile periodically for me, have them looking pretty much directly at me so I could really see them. And I do work also from home, from photographs. I do gift work, which is what I have in the book here, samples of things people have hired me to do, to give as gifts.
What's been the most challenging portrait that you've done?
I did an event for a dog daycare kennel, and this woman was having an event, a birthday party for her dog. So she asked me to come, and she hired me to come, and she invited all of her customers to bring their pets, and they were all dogs, actually. And she set me in a room, and she had them all come in, file in with their owners, and some laid down, some moved around. So it was very challenging, but it was a lot of fun, and the people really seemed to like it.
And what's the biggest sketch that you've done? Like, have you done a huge one? Or have you done something very small? Or
not usually. The largest I've done is maybe a 16 by 20.
Okay.
I've done sign-in boards for, in particular, one person was turning 50. They were doing a party for him. Okay. So I did a sign-in board for him, and what I did is just the basic caricature. It wasn't too large, and then I scanned it into the computer and blew it up, put a background, had it done maybe a 24 by 36, trimmed. They put it up, and all the guests signed it when they came to the event. Oh,
okay. So then they could see what he looked like.
Right. It was a cute theme. It was, I think what it was is he was standing in front of his pickup truck, and there was some beer, Genesee beer, a couple of cases in the back of the pickup. And it said, I actually thought of the headline, it said something about you're turning 50, and we thought the truck was the guzzler, or something like that. So then the client really liked it. I think it was a good friend of hers. She was very happy with it. So.
Okay. I think the most interesting thing about being a caricaturist is that you've got to be a people person. What are some of the people skills that you use to, I guess, make people comfortable? Because a lot of people are a little bit nervous, thinking, oh, well, what's it going to look like? Or I've never had it done before. Or how do you get people to relax? How do you get people to open up enough that you can draw a really true caricature of that?
You know, it depends. Sometimes I'll just have people smile, and usually if it's very awkward, I'll try to either say something funny or witty or comment about something, and usually it'll get a smile. And then ask questions. Just ask them about themselves. And usually they'll ask me questions, so we'll have some conversation going back and forth. And I usually try to reassure them that I do not do big exaggerations. I don't do gross exaggerations, because it's been my experience that there's a lot of different styles out there, and we're all a little bit different. I work with a lot of different artists, and for me, I think what makes me unique is the fact that I can capture somebody and make it cartoony to some extent, but I don't do the gross exaggerations. Because I found people have said to me, oh, I had one done before and I didn't like it. They made my nose look too big, or they made my... So it's not, I guess what I do isn't truly a caricature completely by the traditional sense of the word, but people seem to like that it looks like them, and then that they don't have really big ears or really wide faces or really large noses. So when I reassure them that I won't do that, and oftentimes they say, you made me look better than I look. So that's always a nice thing, you know. And so.
And do you, when you're working, do you try to give a sense of they're there for that moment right there to get their picture done or get their caricature done, but do you think, and you do ask them a lot of questions and things like that, but how do you incorporate stuff from their life that, like, they might tell you, oh, I'm a botanist and I like flowers. Do you draw a flower or some kind of, do you think of a scene that you put them in as a character with that information?
I try. Well, sometimes I end up doing headshots because of the situation, usually the time. Or if it's adults, sometimes they don't really want to do full bodies.
Okay.
When I do full body caricatures, I usually ask what they like to do or what would they like to do in the picture. I also bring along, which I don't have here, but it's a booklet of a lot of little thumbnail sketches that I've done of people doing various things, mostly for the kids and for the teens and the young adults. And they look through there and they just pick things from there. Okay. But if it's a situation like you're saying where they say, oh, I like to garden, then I'll draw something like that, and they even put a flower in it or a plant or, you know, that type.
So Judy, this is going to be my this is going to be my prop for the caricature.
Generally, when I work, I tend to do basically the top of the head down. People work differently. Some people start with the eyes.
Okay.
So I tend to do the hair.
Okay. So you were saying before during the commercial break that you remembered the name of that caricature.
Yes, Al Hirschfeld.
Al Hirschfeld, okay.
And I think many of his pictures are, I believe, in different places in New York City. One company I actually interviewed with at one point actually had originals of his.
And don't they do some of them in a magazine? I think like in the New Yorker magazine or something like that?
Possibly. That may have been where he was, you know, most famous.
Because I've seen some caricatures in that place, but it's always really good to see how the artist's rendition of the person comes out. So do people have to sit still, or do they have to?
It's helpful, but it really depends on the person, and I'm not going to apologize. It depends on the first person's features, and, you know, I don't know. It really depends. I do them better when people are relatively still, you know, just a little bit easier to capture, really see what you're drawing.
Okay. And will you sign it too, and we can have it up?
Sure.
We can put it as a thing for the show, like another logo or something, if you like. Have you had one of these done yourself, a caricature?
Interestingly, one of the guys that I tend to work with, we do sometimes we do the same gigs because they'll want 2 or 3 of us sometimes. And we had to wait for customers one day, so we decided to do one of each other. And I do have his. It's just black and white. He actually has me drawing someone, and this old woman with a big mole on her face saying, "Make me pretty," and it's very cute, actually.
Okay.
And I had to do a self one for my webpage as well. I had to do one of myself. So I have done a portrait though by looking in the mirror in college. That was an interesting experience.
Was it for like an art class?
Yeah, it was an art class.
And so, what kind of materials do you use to make? Like
I do them with either Sharpie marker or the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen that I have now. It has a brush point to it, so it tends to do thick and thins easily. And I use the pastels.
Okay.
Or I just do with colored pencil sticks, which are like more waxy and hard.
Okay.
Gonna give me a little smile? Good, nice broad smile.
It's always a fun thing to see. Like, I wanted to ask you, do you have people who stand over you and look at
Oh,
your
yeah,
work?
absolutely. That's part of the entertainment value, really. Is
Okay.
people, you know, and sometimes they'll say, oh, do you mind me watching? I go, well, no, that's what you're supposed to do. It doesn't bother me at all. I like it, actually.
Okay.
We're getting to the teeth now, so we have to do just a little outline, but...
All right. And I'm trying to sit still, like, you know.
Oh, no,
you're
you're doing
I can't
fine.
really. And people always, like, you see people doing them on the street, and I always stop to look over their shoulder, and I say, well, do you mind if I watch? And they're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's great that how they capture the essence of a person.
Yeah, and some people are a little trickier to, I don't know what it is about people. I feel that, for me, that people are, the more distinct people are, the easier they are to capture. If people are a little, I hate to say generic looking, but, you know, if they don't have anything really distinct about them, they're a little harder sometimes to capture, which is sometimes surprising to people.
Mm-hmm. But then don't you also have to have a sort of great eye for observation of the person?
Yeah.
You've got to kind of see what details you can see while they're in front of you or from the photograph.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, I see too many details because I see a lot of them on myself that aren't always flattering. No, seriously. You know, you notice things that a lot of people don't notice about people's, whether it's their eye shape or that sort of thing, you know. It definitely happens. Oh, you can see it?
Yeah, from here, I can see it on the monitor.
Okay.
You can take your time.
Yeah, so you never know how quick these will go sometimes.
You know? Yeah, so take your time. That's why I wanted to leave a little bit more time so people could see you at work.
Oh, that's
and
great.
know that it's tough. It's tough work.
Thank you.
You want to do?
Hey, if there's time, I'll draw. I'll do anybody else. Absolutely.
Oh, it's great though.
I had fun last night. I was doing an office party, and it was all, you know, all people that were 30 and older, and it was a lot of fun.
It's just really fun because you never know what feature or what will, you know, pop out to someone else. My cousin had one done, and she had one. The man made her more Asian. She has very almond eyes,
Right.
much more so than I do. And one artist made her much more Asian looking.
Oh, really?
And then the other gentleman made her look like herself.
Yeah.
And so when I asked her about it, I said, well, these two pictures, this doesn't really look so much like you, but this one does. And she said, well, yes, I think this guy captured the essence because he asked me more questions.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's
why-
interesting. Yeah.
And he let other people watch his work
Right.
too. And one of the guys said, well, she's got a very bright smile. What about her smile? And he said, hey, am I doing this or are you doing
Really?
this?
Oh, that's funny.
And so everybody laughed and got a good rise.
Was
out
this
of the
around
book.
here? The
I don't remember where she said
Oh,
she
okay.
got it. So, are there a lot of women doing it in terms of, like, even though you've not met them, are they
I'm not
industry,
sure.
or-
I know there's some, but I know some of the online agents that represent me. I know there are some women in Connecticut, but I see more men than I see women on
Okay.
that site.
Okay, so we've got 3 minutes left, they said, so you got time. Take your time.
Make a little bit of a glow here around the statue.
Yeah, no worries. Lots of money, wealth, dollar signs. But I think this is just a really neat little prop thing that we've
It is. That's great.
got a bit of film and
That's great.
so it shows everybody that, you know.
See if there's anything else I need to finesse
Do you need
here
my
now since we have a
fingers
few
or-
minutes. No, I got that.
Okay.
Let's see the smile and again one more time. Oh, there you go. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, we're almost all set.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're there.
Okay.
Did you want any message on this quickly or
Best director.
Best director? Okay.
Academy Award for Best Director.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. Do you want to step aside and let's...
Sure.
Okay, if we can get a shot of that, I'll put this here and we'll stand on either side of it. And let's see. Oh, that's great! I love that!
Thank you.
Okay, I'll step out of the way, and this is what it looks like. And so can you tell us what some of the, I guess, details that you've done? Or like?
Well, I did give you a nice broad smile.
Yeah.
The almond eyes for sure. Again, not overly exaggerated, but show the almond eyes.
Yeah.
And you have a distinct here. You have the distinct, a little bit of the shape of the face.
Yeah.
the jawline
Yeah.
and put in the little statue there.
Yeah, and it's gold and it's shining and a bit of
Yeah.
film. I really like that, Judy. Thank you so
You're
much. It
welcome.
looks really like
Great.
me. I really do like it. Would you mind if we use it as a part of the show?
No,
Like,
not
maybe
at
we'll
all.
make it a
Not at all.
show logo or
Not at all.
something like that, because we are looking to update our look for this
Sure.
fall season.
Sure.
I really like. See, that looks like me. I like that.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
you're
I try, you know,
awesome.
like, and you have some distinctness to work with. So
Have you got a card? Like, I can get some done for
I
family
have
and
that
friends.
postcard that's
Okay,
floating around somewhere.
I'll
so.
grab it if Gary doesn't use it.
Okay.